Hello, Internet, and welcome to Red Jenny. We're here to play some more Dragon Age TTRPG, and we're super excited for you to be joining us here on this lovely Monday afternoon. We will get started here in a second, continuing our game. Happy episode 50, everyone. We made it. We're here. And without an end in sight. Yeah, remember this miniseries? So we're super stoked to be having this episode 50 on such a lighthearted segment of our game. We're kind of in the Dark Night of the Soul section of our TTRPG here. So I could not have timed this if I even tried to. So as much as I would have liked to have something super lighthearted, we're going to be starting off with some heavier stuff today, but I'll get to that in a second. First, talk about what we've got going on the channel this week. So if you're watching us live, I believe our next regularly scheduled stream will be on back to Saturday, I believe. We will be continuing we will not have a Strixhaven this week. Am I right about that, Van?
We will not.
No Strixhaven this week due to travel, but we're getting so close to finishing that game, that module, y'all. We're in a very rough fight, or finishing up a very rough fight. But I believe that does put our next live stream for the other game that I run, Hearts of Stone. We play the Blades in the Dark TTRPG on Saturday at 5 o'clock Eastern time. So that's it for right now. We will probably have some other announcements coming up soon once we get a few things in order, but we'll stay. The best place you can stay up to date on all of that is on our Discord, which the link to is below our faces as well. You can scroll down there, click on that, and join us in the place that most of us interact with the internet at large the most. If you would like to also follow us on YouTube, you can see the full back catalog of everything we've got. We're very up to date on that, pretty much like week to week, I think. So you can check out all of our streams, everything that we've done since the dawn of time in 2017, and check that stuff out, see what you like. If you see something and you're like, oh, I really wish they'd do more of that, let us know. So I think that is pretty much it as far as announcements go. So I will go ahead and turn things over to my lovely players here to introduce themselves, talk about who they are, what they do on and off this channel, and who they are playing tonight, starting, as always, with Van.
That's me. Hi, I'm Van. You can find me on the internets at Van But Wilder, pretty much wherever you can find people on the internet. Mostly I'm just hanging out in the Discord and streaming on Twitch a few times a week. I run our aforementioned D&D game on Saturday mornings. Yeah, we're almost done with Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I'm very excited to get into our new stuff. I'm also over on Sunday nights on twitch.tv/hackrecklessly, Saturday afternoons here, and also Mondays here. Tonight I am playing Venehn, who is an elven rogue, and I don't have a bit because I just spent 45 minutes troubleshooting the technology. So I'm just not going to do one today.
That's fine. Take a day off.
Exactly. Hey, I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on the internets at Greek Sid. I am here Mondays and on Saturdays. Tonight I am playing a husk of a Kunari, Yasmera, our shadow. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
And I was. This is sad. I was gonna make a joke there, and
you can still make the joke.
And what is Yaz not doing?
Functioning, mainly.
Yeah,
Feeling.
Feeling.
Feeling. Interacting with other individuals, mainly.
Yeah.
What has she been doing? Drinking. Or at least, we'll see. You gotta stick around. Wally, save me.
I can't. Don't look at me. You think I'm gonna be able to save you with what my character's going through? Huh? What's up, y'all? This is me, Wally, your favorite non-binary slide best friend on the internet. You can find me on social media as WALLE132. You can also find me here Mondays and Saturdays playing games with all these wonderful people. And you can find me for this February over at Hack Recklessly playing some Glitter Hearts, a nice magical girl TTRPG. Come check that out. We're playing with the guy who created the game. It's pretty dope. It's really awesome. Come check it out. But yeah, today though, I'll be playing Garas, the saddest duelist Grey Warden this side of Battle Royale. He lost his
Look,
smile.
You're gonna have to compete for that title with our other Great Warden.
Like Shawn Michaels lost his smile, y'all. All right. So I'm only the only one who gets that reference, but that's for any of you wrestling fans out there who's watching this. If I said Garas lost his smile and you're a wrestling fan, you're gonna go, I get it. I get it.
Hi, internet, and hi, mom. Oh, and by the way, I talked to her. She knows what's up. I filled her in. She hadn't quite caught up yet.
How's mom doing? Mom,
she-
how are you? We're sorry.
She's taking it way better than you guys.
Oh, okay. Fair.
She's like,
so-
good, you deserved it.
Yeah, she's happy.
Gene, what the hell?
I'm Mr. Wilt. Look in the internet. Tonight I am playing not Carter. I am playing one Zygmunt Angharad, a Dwarven Guardian. And I think today and in the near future he will not be doing any tap dancing.
Probably not. Oh boy. Hi everyone. I'm Val, the person that did this to all these people. I am
I
the
hope
Ground.
you're happy.
I'm extremely happy. You can find me the Kraken's Crown lurking around the internet. I am here a few days a week playing and running games. I've already mentioned the 2 games that I run. And I'm also over on LB Hackom's channel, Hack Recklessly on Sundays, where last night we played Duck Game. Some of us experienced that for the first time.
That
If
game
you
is
can
so
watch
fun.
that VOD, we were just
It was unhinged.
we were dying the entire time. It was the most like
It was so
the
funny.
craziest shit.
Was
Yeah.
that before or after I jumped in?
It was
That
after.
It was
It was
after
after?
we
Okay.
finished we played Dead by Daylight for a while. and it
We
was
gave
awesome.
everybody got to play as a killer. It was very fun.
Yeah, it was.
And then we played Duck Game where everybody played as a killer, but a duck.
Yeah. It was great, and I imagine
was
we'll probably
awesome.
do more of that in the future. But yeah, today I am running this game and traumatizing these lovely people. Y'all ready to get started?
No.
Okay, well, too bad. Either we end the stream or I start. So let me know if we got. Oh, also, I should mention, we're having a little bit of issues with our captioner today. If you are someone who relies on those, we deeply apologize.
It's the
there
website's fault. They
Yeah.
partially updated, but not everybody got the update, and those of us who did, our shit is borked. So
Yeah, so we will keep messing with those. Hopefully, it will be fixed by our next stream. If not, we'll seek other options. But apologies. for
sorry,
that.
guys.
Yeah, so y'all ready to get going? Holkadoka. Previously on Red Jenny, the crew of the Red Jenny had their final confrontation with the Ben Hassaroth, who were scheming under the leadership of Talus, Yasmera's mother, to assassinate the divine Rosamund. The session began in the aftermath of Carter's failed spell and transformation into an abomination. Garas and Akant attempting to face down and destroy this abomination. However, as the Seekers swarmed into the Divine's quarters where this tragedy had taken place, the creature was able to flee using the divine or the magical gifts that Carter possessed. While you were still in the process of recovering from that, the attack by the Ben Hassaroth began at the most inopportune time. Yasmera entered the fray following the Ben Hassaroth Astaroth that she was tasked with accompanying under her mother's leadership, attempting to disarm their Gatlock satchel that they were carrying, was caught in the process, and just when it looked like they were about to turn on the young Kunari, a group of seekers disguised as clergy of the Chantry, along with one mysterious dwarven figure who you later identified or introduced himself as Zygmunt, jumped to her defense, disarming the Ben Hassaroth and letting you continue into the palace to stop your mother. You were all able to reconvene after the explosion, briefly filling each other in what was going on before you really had a chance to decide or to process the information of the current state of or the demise of Carter. You needed to first track down the Divine, who had retreated to her quarters. I forgot, I don't want to gloss over, you had discovered in the quarters of the Divine, upon leaving, one of these statues was cracked and broken and seemed to contain a portion of red lyrium. A strange thing to be contained in a statue, for sure. You were retreated back into the Chantry, making your way to Duchess Janelle's quarters, where the Divine Rosman and her would be hiding. Along your way there, though, you found Seeker Livia, who had been accompanying them, who had been stabbed and was on the verge of death, who identified her assailant, and it's none other than Duchess Janelle. You saved Seeker Livia's life and continued bursting into the Duchess's quarters. You found Talus standing guard over a ritual being performed over the Divine Rosman's unconscious body, being performed by not Duchess Janelle, but in fact Brila, one of the disciples of Silence, who appeared to have disguised herself as the Duchess. Anger all around. Some a scorned lover, an angry daughter, and two pissed off Grey Wardens threw themselves into the battle. You fought against Talus tooth and nail, attempting to break her defense of this ritual being conducted. You were able to finally do so, the battle seeming to swing in your favor. However, as I believe, who was it that knocked Brila over that was the Yasmera? As Yasmera knocked Brila off the ledge with a well-placed crossbow
After I
bolt,
paralyzed her.
after being paralyzed by Venehn, Ziggy jumped over the balcony, having previously in the fight identified or seeming to have some familiarity with Brila, dove off of this balcony about 50 feet above the city streets below, performing an act of heroism, and managing to prevent her death by catching her and absorbing the impact. Ziggy took a hell of a blow, as did Brila, and the two were knocked unconscious, or at least stunned. The fight coming to a conclusion upstairs, Talus cornered, the ritual disrupted. She pulled from her satchel, she pulled from her side another satchel of Gatlock, detonating the device, blasting all of you in the process, destroying the room. And as the chambers around you begin to crumble down into the floors below, you all attempted to escape. Garas, tripping and stumbling along the way, was rescued by a Kant, Yasmera's father, who threw Garas out of harm's way, and he, along with Talus, his former spouse, lover, I don't know if they have were officially married, tumbled into the floors below. And that is where we pick up here today. I'll just give us a little bit of more, we'll go some more dramatic music. Oh, I also forgot to mention Ziggy down on the street. I should mention this too, as he came through out of unconsciousness or kind of in his waning state. Saw Brila being carried off by Doman, one of the other disciples. Okay, that is everything. So picking up where we left off, the dust around you, clouds, the debris, there's kind of like that blast, that shock of like the large structure kind of crushing in on itself. You all kind of covering your eyes, coughing. Yasmera, Garas, and Venehn find yourself safely outside the doors of the Duchess's quarters, with the essentially this section of the palace of the chantry destroyed, having collapsed down, imploding in on itself. You hear the sounds of seekers rushing up the steps. Behind you, a small contingent of them reaching the top of this landing and pausing as they see that the fighting seems to have stopped. The divine safely in your care, having regained consciousness and also just coughing in the dust as she waves out her face. The seekers move in to secure her and make sure that she's safe, as she sort of waves them off, looking around to the three of you, and then looking to the room beyond where she knows Akant and Talus just disappeared. There's a moment of silence that hangs in the air in the aftermath of this destruction. What do the three of you do?
I think Yaz just rushes past the Seekers. She's going to try to get to the ground floor and, I suppose, dig through with her bare hands and try to find her father.
Okay. Yasmera, steadying herself, pushing past the Seekers, who make no attempt to stop you as you descend the steps. You can still hear some sound. It sounds like most of the conflict is dying down further within the chantry. You imagine that the Ben Hasarath are either in the process of fleeing or having, or at least having been detained by the Seekers here. Venehn and Garas, you see Yasmera leaving your side. What do the two of you do?
Garas goes right after Yasmera because he wants to make sure the person saved his life is okay.
Venehn.
I'm gonna check in with the divine and then I'll go.
Okay. Yeah, what do you say?
What do you remember?
It's a bit hazy now. Janelle was urging that we make haste to her chambers, and along the way, the Seeker, Livia, is she all right? Where is she?
Downstairs. She'll be okay.
I don't know where she got it or where it came from, but Janelle had a dagger and then attacked the Seeker, and I was stunned. I didn't know what to do, and Livia fell. And before I knew it, I was being dragged up the steps, and... Has anyone found Janelle? That wasn't her. That can't have been her.
It wasn't. It was somebody masquerading as her. But unfortunately, we don't know how long that's been the case.
You see a look over her of like relief as well as like deep concern. A very conflicted emotion across her face. She kind of shakes herself from it. She says, "Then there was something after that. I don't remember all of it. It's some sort of spell or." I remember feeling something terrible washing over me, and then I began to see things, memories, prior to becoming divine. They passed so quickly. It was like I was seeing my life flash before my eyes. And then it focused in on something else, on a particular memory of myself and my predecessor having a conversation. He seemed focused on that.
What was that conversation about?
She hesitates for a moment, like she's not really sure whether to trust you with this or to tell you this. I'm going to have you make a roll here. I'm going to give you a +2 bonus because you know what you just did, saving her life and everything. But this is something that seems she's very reluctant to tell you.
Okay.
So I'm going to say communication, persuasion.
Sure. $15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
She looks around and she says, "It's confidential. It's not something anybody's supposed to know about, but I wish to make sure everyone is safe first. Find me before you leave. Once the chantry is secure and in privacy, I'll tell you more."
All right.
And please, if you find Janelle, make sure she's safe.
I'll do my best.
The Seekers begin to take her to somewhere more secure, back to like the Seeker like barracks. Do you head after Yasmera and Garas?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of want to make sure this dwarf didn't eat it, even though I don't trust his ass now. I feel bad if he showed up and just immediately beefed it. He did help.
You might want to answer from him too.
Oh boy, do I!
Howdy.
Boy, do I!
Do you follow Yasmera and Garas to the rubble below, or do you head around and outside? Because the way that everything collapsed in on itself, like the lower levels aren't like, it's only like the floor gave out and crashed in through like a couple of lower levels, so it's not like you can just like walk out into the street from that side. It's kind of all like contained. If you want to go outside, you could head around to the streets if you wanted to check on Ziggy.
Yeah, I'll go outside.
Okay. So you head that way. We'll go to Yasmera and Garas first. Yaz and Garas, the two of you descend the steps and find essentially a section of this. Like there, it looks like there's a room down here or some sort of like chambers beyond that were underneath the Duchess's chambers above, and everything. I mean, just piles of rubble down here. The two of you are gonna start trying to clear out the rubble.
Yeah.
Okay. I will have you both make. I think it's gonna be strength. We'll say might.
Okay.
That is a 20 for me.
14.
20 for Garas, though. Okay. So yeah, I mean, Yasmera, like emotionally numb, not entirely sure, even like just like moving on like memory, like you're able to move some of the smaller pieces out of the way.
I think she's just like calling, just screaming father, and just like trying to listen to hear if she can hear anything, like searching where to start digging. Like it's just kind of frantic.
Yeah, the two of you begin to push things out of the way. Like it is pretty much like a you're like digging through and moving like large pieces of stone and brick and stuff out of a short like corridor, just to make it to the collapsed rubble of like where everything fell down. It's slow going, but with Garas with a 20, and with Yasmera's help, you're able to move some of the larger pieces out of the way. I think actually as you begin to do this too, a couple of the seekers that are nearby as well, that as they come down the steps of the divine, Venehn moves off. The divine actually dispatches a few over to help you, and between the like 6 of you, you're able to start moving pieces out of the way, at least enough to clear out to move over the rubble to some of like the higher areas, knowing that even the way they must have fallen, you're hoping that Akan and or Talus would be near the top of all of this. As you push through the rubble, finally able to clear out enough of a gap, Yasmera, you're able to wedge yourself through and kind of pulling yourself, maybe straining some of your wounds along the way, but not enough to take any additional damage. You just feel that like the pain of the day's events weighing on you. Garas following shortly behind. You emerge into you can see this the upper floors above you having collapsed down. You hear like a bit of a shudder, and then a few more pieces of stone will fall down. It doesn't seem like this is probably a very stable area. You wouldn't want to be here for long, but in your desperation, you're more focused on the task at hand. You strangely enough, you seem to emerge like everything seems to have collapsed down into some kind of like secondary like private prayer room or chapel, probably multiple rooms that have kind of collapsed together. And you see large pieces of stone. You see the tub from Janelle's quarters having like crashed to the ground. Water that was like collected in the tub from maybe a bath earlier in the day, leaking out of it and causing water to rain down into the room itself. There is like clothing and bedding and everything all over the place. It's just this pure chaos in here. And the strangest thing is that almost like perfectly preserved, like everything seemed to have moved around it, or like just by pure happenstance or perhaps divine intervention. You see resting on the far wall is a statue of or like an engraving in the wall, sort of like an ensconced like relief with a statue in it of Andraste, arms extended, just like in complete juxtaposition of everything here, like somehow that survived even with everything here being destroyed. And sitting, or more so leaning back against the wall, next to that statue, you see Akant, head slumped forward onto his chest, kind of splayed out, not moving, just sort of lifeless, kind of laying there. It almost looks like definitely unconscious. And in fact, you sort of fear for moments you don't see any movement as you tentatively approach.
I have one potent health potion left. I'm gonna immediately. I'm probably not even checking if he's still alive.
Well, you move, you rush forward, and as you do, you see his chest moving, and you realize, okay, he's breathing. As you begin to pull the potion, you realize something else. You see across, he has a large, it looks like his, one of his legs is like badly broken, and you catch that, you see some like bruising and stuff like around it, so you imagine he probably has many broken bones. A large gash, like some sort of wound that he sustained on his arm, has a wrapping tied around it as if it has like been bound closed. And you catch that as you move over, you can see like a trickle of something down his chin, that you recognize as like the maybe residuals of a potion that was administered to him.
use in looking for Talis then. She'll pop another one into him anyway.
Okay.
How is he?
He's alive. A call for a priest, a sister, someone,
Right.
Anyone with healing.
Garas will head off to find a healer to bring them back here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no magical healers here because that would be completely against the chantry. But there are medics that are here as well. And yeah, they rush you send a couple, like, you go out to the hole because the seekers stayed outside, not being able to wedge through with their armor. You call out for them to fetch a medic, and they do. It takes probably longer than you would like, just because there are probably a lot of injured that are being attended to. And after they're gone for a few minutes, you hear a Akant blinks and kind of stirs as he looks up.
You're all right. There's a medic coming.
Looks over and sees Garas is alive, and you can see like a sigh of relief there. Didn't think I was making it out of that one.
Oh, but no worry for Venehn.
He saw you make it out. He saw Venehn and Yaz make it out. Garas is the last person.
no blessings
Everybody
for Venehn?
worried about Garas. No blessings for Venehn.
There's a moment of pause, and he says, I feel like I'd get in trouble if I didn't ask. Are Venehn and the Divine okay?
Yes, they're all right.
Good.
Thank you for saving me.
It was foolhardy and stupid.
Listen, I'm not going to change my stripes this late in life. Talis, she kind of begins looking around.
Assumed as much. I'm
Is she
very
here?
certain she's gone. Someone tended to you before we got to you.
Biggest surprise today. And I got blown up.
It's definitely in the top of the list.
Right. Hope you don't mind. I'm just gonna sit here for a bit.
To try not to move too much. But they're coming.
Around that time, you hear some commotion, and a young sister of the chantry comes pulling in. She's got like a med kit. She has like a white like cloth tied around her head. You can see blood spattered across her white robes. She appears probably not the first person she's been sent to attend to today. She crawls in. She says, "Right, who's? Oh, all right." She rushes in, and begins looking over Akant and says, "All right. Well, it looks like you did a good job stopping the bleeding." Looking up at the two of you. And then looking back and kind of looking over his eyes and checking his checking the rest of him, says, "All right, you no immediate concerns of blood loss, maybe some bleeding internally. We have to administer that. I have some poultices. I'm limited on supplies right now. Are you feeling all right? Any lightheadedness, pain, and what's concerning you the most right now?" And he kind of says, I'm fine.
Your leg is in 4 pieces.
She looks down. You can see like it looks like a pretty clean break along his femur, but you can definitely see it's out of place. And she looks down and she says, okay, we're going to have to set that. I'm going to need your help for this. She looks up at Yasmera and Garas.
Just puts her hands on her father's shoulders.
All right, this is going to hurt. So brace yourselves. She gets some bindings and gets like a small splint off of her back. She's got like a few like sturdy pieces of wood. She begins to set it on the sides of his leg. And she kind of positions herself to get some leverage as you and Garrus move in. She goes, all right, 1, 2, 3. And there's a snapping sound as she pulls it into place. You see Akant braces. And then as he kind of blinks a bit, he says, didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. And she kind of blinks for a bit, begins setting the binding, but looking up, and she says, looking to Yaz and Garrus and back to Akon, and says, I fear it might be a bit worse than I initially thought. She binds it together, and says, I'm going to get a stretcher and a few more to help carry. We'll have to clear out the hallway first before we can move in.
They're also gonna have to get half the fucking chantry to lift this man.
That too. Yeah. He's a big boy.
Yeah. You can see he's like looking down at his Kant looking down at his legs, and he takes one of his arms, begins to like rub at like his non-broken leg, and then he mutters a curse in Kunari to himself.
It's fine. Whatever it is, we'll manage it. All right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just I'm glad you're okay. Listen, go do what you need to do. They'll take care of me.
I think she just like grabs his hand and doesn't let go.
You're gonna stay with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Garas pats Yasmir on the shoulder. I'm going to go find that dwarf from earlier.
Go.
He'll head out.
You head
But then,
out.
like, as soon as he heads out, he turns a corner and heads into a hallway, and he just slumps down in the empty hallway and just sobs.
Leaving as Garrus leaves, eventually you hear some commotion as they begin to try to clear out some more rubble as you wait there with your father underneath the statue of Andraste. Going outside, Venehn, you leave, you head out through the chantry, and you hear some shouting, you hear some bells out in the streets. The guard has rallied and come to like support the seekers. You can hear some like they're shouting. It's like, I think some ran that way. Send a platoon over there, and like shouting out to the streets. Seems like maybe some of the Ben Hasrath escaped. You also see as you come into.
Just gonna let them handle that.
Yeah, as you come into like the kind of the main area, that pavilion area, you can see that there's probably about like 10 or 15 that are currently like in chains or bound in rope or unconscious, like that have been detained. There are probably as you're wandering the hall or rushing down the halls, you catch more Ben Hasrath that have been slain, bodies left laying in the hallways that have not yet been moved, passing by a few seekers as well that have fallen in the process. There's still a lot of chaos here as you rush outside. You head around the corner, rounding underneath where heading down to the alleyway into the street where or guess where Ziggy must have fallen. As you like come around the last turn, and you see the a cart that has just been like smashed, like obliterated to pieces. And at the middle of this crater is a fully armored dwarf.
Yamcha.
Yeah, Yamcha, just lying on the ground.
Grey Warden.
Not to steal a Khan's thunder, but you're not even sure if this guy's alive.
Shit.
He's like there's a whole lot of blood. You can see there's a piece of wood that seems to be running all the way through one of his calves, which is also facing the wrong direction. You can see one of his arms is bent the wrong way, and the other one seems to be missing a finger. And you can't even see his face.
Oh boy. Figment. See if he's breathing.
Yeah, you rush over and manage to.
That would be the funniest prank ever if Sita was like, he's dead.
He's dead. You pull the helm off of him gently, making sure not to move him too much.
Hi, Grey Warden.
You
You
can
alive?
feel. Yeah, you hold a hand to his face, and you can feel his breathing. Ziggy, I'm going to say it's your choice whether you're conscious or not. You've been in and out of consciousness during this time.
Ziggy's made out of tough stuff. I think he would. When you roll him over and get his helmet off, he coughs and there's a splatter of blood, and his eyes kind of flutter open. One of the sclera of one of his eyes is completely red. One eye is the pupils. One eye is contracted. The other is dilated. And he says, "Stillman, Allie."
We'll get to
Okay.
that. I'm gonna give him a potion.
Okay. You administer a potion. What I'm going to say for the potions, and the same thing I did for a con, potion will stop the bleeding. It will get you to a point of like conscious. It'll stop the bleeding, dull the pain, clear up any like immediately heal any superficial wounds. So probably like stabilize like a shot of caffeine, adrenaline, and stabilize you enough. It will not reset, broken bones or anything. So you're still, you can still feel the throbbing pain in your leg. You can still feel the pain in your hand and your arm. And probably like a ringing in your head, but it does bring you back to clarity as soon as Venehn administers it to you.
Can you hear me okay? Good.
Enough. That ground came up very fast.
Well, it tends to happen when you send yourself hurtling off of balconies. You always do this?
Then let her die.
I don't see her, so I take it she lives. Who is she to you?
I think you wouldn't know this, but Ziggy, you asked that, and Ziggy would have a flashback to a moment a long time ago, standing behind his shield against an onslaught of warriors while a tiny elven girl is holding on to him by the same pinky that he's lost. And he looks down at his hand, and he looks up at you, and he says, "Tracking them down to bring them to justice. Board and High Council has questions for them."
So do we.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but dead elves don't talk.
I'm keenly aware.
The divine.
She's fine.
Good. The rest of you.
We'll live.
I don't think I can walk like this.
I'll get some help from the Seekers. You're going to come with us.
I imagine you have a lot of questions.
I do. I'm going to warn you up front. You're going to want me to be your friend in this. Because the other two are not in a state to be kind to you right now.
I'll keep that in mind.
Don't piss them off. They lost a lot today.
The redhead. Carter, right?
Yeah.
I met him once. Hosberg. Helped make his armor. I'm sorry.
It was only a matter of time. The Fade has him now.
It's all right with you. I'm gonna rest my eyes for a bit.
Going to get some Seekers to move you. We have a spare room you can have.
Thank you.
Purely selfish reasons, I can assure you, Grey Warden.
Been a warden a long time. Pretty used to that.
So, Venehn, you return to get Seekers for let them know that Ziggy's out here injured. Again, it takes a bit. A lot of people that they're triaging right now. We're gonna kind of.
I basically just want to get him to our cart that we had.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I want to.
And take him back
cut
to the
forward
Red
a little
Jenny
bit.
with us.
Before we get back to the Red Jenny, because I know there's probably a couple, we need to have a little debriefing with Ziggy. I imagine that y'all are probably going to want to talk amongst yourselves a little bit too, whether Ziggy's there or not. And I also know you want to talk with the Divine. So kind of what I was, what we'll say is the next hour goes by in kind of a blur. The Valrio guard arrives. A small contingent of Templars arrives too. They mostly stay out of Seeker business, but in this case, they know that the help is needed. They actually escort a number of Circle Mages as well, gifted in healing, to assist in the process too. The Ziggy and Akant are both taken to or taken on stretchers to be treated the best that they can. Ziggy, your leg is set. You're put in a cast. I mean, everything should heal mostly except for the finger. They're told that everything should heal mostly fine, but you need to stay off the leg for the probably 6 to 8 weeks.
And Livia's probably already done this, but the Seekers specifically, I tell them if they see Janelle to take her into custody immediately.
Yeah,
and we can suss out whether or not it's the real one, or if the real one is long dead.
Yeah, over the next hour, so they circle. Everything calms down to the point where, though the guard is still scouring the city, they, I imagine Yasmera, you tell them where the hideout was for the Ben Hassaroth. They head there as well. A few more detained in the city streets. You imagine some have gotten away. There is no sign of Talus. Brila is not found. I imagine you identify her to the Seekers and the guards as well. She is not found either. And the Duchess is also not located, much to Divine Rosamond's dismay. The Carter or not Carter, Ziggy, and there's also no other word of an abomination as well. That information is passed on to the Templars, who seem less than pleased to find that out. There's a lot of heated
Guess
conversation.
who doesn't give a shit about what they think?
There's a lot of heated conversation between the Lord Seeker and the Templars that are dispatched here. A lot of accusations being thrown each way. Why would they let a mage into the chantry? Why would they let an apostate mage into the chantry? Why would they, and without Templar supervision, why wasn't the Templars informed of the threat to the divine? A lot of accusations being thrown around. Lord Seeker pretty much holds his ground, puts on the doddering old man act, and nobody really argues with him, gives up on arguing. They give up on arguing with him pretty quickly. Ziggy and Akant are prepared for transport back to the Red Jenny once they are stabilized. They have identified that they do believe that the medical attendees, even with the mages that are there, Akant sustained a pretty bad injury to his back, and they're uncertain whether he will ever walk again. But they get him as stabilized as they can, and once you assure them that you have the means of taking care of him back at the Red Jenny, they're loaded up into your cart for transport back. While that is all happening, though, Venehn, Garas, and Yasmera, you find yourselves in the Seeker kind of war room, the barracks that you were in before. A lot of Seekers are there to keep watch over the divine, and Seeker Livia is there too, injured still, but not nearly as much so as the others were. Didn't break any bones, just a very bad stabbing, some that which magical healing can address. She is currently there at the divine's side, while Divine Rosamond is drinking a cup of tea, kind of hands shaking still as she stares down at it. As the three of you enter, she looks up, steadying herself. You almost see her letting out taking a deep breath in to steady her for this conversation. As she sets the tea to the side, she looks up at Livia, who gestures to the other Seekers and says, "All right, the divine wants a word in private with these three. I'm asking you to wait outside." You see the Seekers seem very reluctant, but at the urging of the divine, they exit the room to wait outside.
You got anything stronger to drink than tea?
I wish, but no, not here.
Looking at Livia, come on.
Livia she looks down at the divine, sighs, moves across the room to some of the barracks, opens up a chest, moves some things outside, and pulls out a bottle of some sort of liquor.
I knew she was cool.
Moves to the table and sets it down in front of you.
You're all right. You're not injured.
Picks it up and swigs it, a lot of it.
Yeah, I think we're just passing the bottle. I'll buy you a new one.
Doesn't drink from it. He looks like he's kind of disassociated a bit, so he just kind of passes it onward to the next person.
I'll buy you some more.
Livia takes it back and she takes a swig too. And the addressing your question was to Livia or to the divine?
Oh, the divine.
Okay.
I know Livia got stabbed.
Yeah.
She'll be okay.
Divine says, "I'm all right. I'm trying to not I know many here have it much worse than me right now.
You're allowed to feel your feelings.
Are your companions all right? I heard that, I believe your father was badly injured.
He's alive.
As is the Grey Warden.
Good. I wish them both a quick recovery and the Divine's blessing upon them. I'm sure you have other things to do. I don't mean to take up any more of your time, but as I am led to understand, you have some questions for me and perhaps more knowledge of what transpired here today.
Unfortunately.
Venehn, you were asking me earlier. I don't know if you've informed the others of what I've told you.
Not yet.
Well, first of all, thank you to the three of you. I know you've suffered a loss today, many losses. And I feel responsible given that this was all done in the name of protecting me.
It's not your fault.
Know that I owe you a great debt.
Guess we're not even anymore.
No. I'll make this quick for now so you can return to your affairs. The elven woman that was impersonating Janelle, I don't know the nature of the spell that was being used, but I do know what it felt like, and it felt like my memories were being read like a book, like somebody was leafing through them like pages. And though I know not her intent, it does seem like she was looking for something in particular.
Did she find it?
I believe so, given that much time was spent on a rather particular memory of mine. Given that this is no longer privileged and that your knowledge of this matter may hasten its resolution, I am confiding you in this, though this is a very closely regarded secret amongst me and my predecessors. When a divine is named, there are certain privileges of our position that are passed on. Knowledge, guidance mostly, but some secrets. This was one of them. My predecessor told me of a doctrine or a portion of the understanding, loose as it is, of magic and arcane rites. There are some that have been taken by the divine, by the chantry over time, deemed to be too dangerous to be kept by the circle. One such, there are a few of these rites that are kept by by myself and my predecessors. And these rites are passed down through the only and what we believe to be the safest means of doing so, which is memory. One of these rites, an ancient one, was, well, was the focus of the intrusion by this woman. My predecessor referred to it as the rite of imprisonment. It was something used in ancient times, in the times of Andraste and even prior, to contain malevolent spirits or entities. I do not know why they would want this information, but that seemed to be the reason why they were focused on me.
Venehn just looks at Yaz. Think I might have some idea why.
What reason would that be?
This Brugla is part of a splinter, if you will, from the Grey Wardens. A bit of a radical group. They have a very interesting end game. They are also why Garas is our Grey Warden.
They forced me to go through it.
They think they can end the blight permanently.
They believe that having everyone go through the turning will secure people from the blight. It is how they feel things can be done.
I believe that they seek this ritual so they can reverse it.
To what end?
To set their god free.
Are you speaking of the old gods?
That's a bit complicated.
There's definitely a lot more to this than just all the gods trying to come back.
Venehn's like just about to say the whole thing, but is looking at Yasmera in case he
that's
shouldn't.
pretty much Garas is doing, like, trying to avoid talking about the architect is what he's doing.
Yaz is just sort of shaking her head.
There's a being out there. Some darkspawn that has gained humanity, knowledge. It believes that the Grey Warden rites are unfinished. But there's a final step. that it could be the key to ending the Blight forever. And I think they want to set it free.
I do have some limited understanding on the Blight and the goings-on of the Wardens, but that is far outside my understanding. Any resources I can spare to your thwarting of this, or any, I suppose, directions you can point my seekers towards, to aiding in stopping this.
We have a couple, I think.
I assume they're long gone, but we can give you full descriptions of the acolytes of this splinter group that we've encountered.
That would be a good start. I can ensure that we look into identifying and apprehending those responsible to keep this from coming to pass. Of course, this breeder is certainly at the top of our list.
They're also using red lyrium.
That is very concerning. There was mention of a strange substance that was gathered from my quarters.
Garas will put down that wrapped up statue right there on the table. Right there is a big old chunk of red lyrium sitting inside of the statue that was in your office for who knows how long. This was probably put there as part of whatever plan they had to get to you.
Where did the statue come from?
She regards it and thinks, you can see that as you brought out the statue, the Seeker Livia kind of putting an arm in front of the Divine, to protect her, concerned about this substance even being in close proximity to her. And she thinks for a moment and says, we did, it was brought in along with some other things perhaps a month ago. There are many statues like it, but the one that was specifically in my quarters, I imagine that Janelle would have arranged for its procurement.
So, I think we know at least the timeline of at the latest when Janelle was, in fact, no longer Janelle.
You mean she's been gone at least a month?
Yep.
Yes.
Easy, this definitely affects her. She looks down at the floor.
Sorry,
shaking her head. She
Rosemond.
says, I couldn't even tell the difference. My closest friend wasn't even her.
Well, that gives you some idea of how insidious these people are.
Then we need to make sure they're dealt with. All right. I'm afraid I don't have much more to offer you, but if you need anything from me, you need only ask.
Clear out your...
Good.
Clear out... I was going to say, clear out the rest of the hallways of your quarters. I wouldn't trust any statuary at this point.
All right. We'll endeavor to do so.
We're glad you're okay.
Thank you. Likewise.
I don't think Venon's trying to hide it, but I think is just like really staring long and hard at Livia, like trying to get Carter's not here to do it, trying to get any sense of like, are you legit?
Sure. Do a perception empathy.
Feared?
No.
Based? I'm afeared. That's fine. So like a +5. 12. 17.
17. She
Then
definitely
is
sees,
not trying to hide it either. It's just like
I will tell you this.
staring at her.
Yeah, you definitely see the posture of a woman who's solely concerned on one thing, and that is making sure that the divine is safe in this moment. She is very vigilant. You can almost tell, like, she's staring at the three of you intently, because you can tell she's not even sure whether to trust you. There's a lot of suspicion going around right
I
now.
think that's fair.
And even letting the other seekers leave the room to leave the three of you here is a huge risk. And you can see that she is just on guard to call the rest of them in at any moment should something fishy happen here. You can see she almost did it when Garas put the lyrium down on the table. And yeah, but you don't, as much as you can from somebody you've had such limited interactions with, you don't see anything different about her. She seems to, pass your standards.
Venehn is notorious for having high standards.
Is there anything else?
We should get some rest. As should you. Maybe change the locks.
Right. Thank you. As she thanks the three of you for your assistance, and you are ushered out by the seekers that return to the divine's protection. You head back to your cart and withdraw back to the Red Jenny for whatever you
For more
decide to do.
talking.
More
for
talking.
more talking to decompress. Let's go ahead and take our break here, and then we will come back to talk with Ziggy and amongst yourselves and anything else you might want to do. So thanks everyone out there for watching. We will be back in a few minutes to continue our session. We recommend you do break stuff too, drink some water, eat a snack, whatever you might need to do, and we'll see you back here very soon, so stay tuned. And welcome back, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us while we took our break. Got a little bit of a chance to decompress. We're going to jump right back into it, though. So, the four of you and a Kant ride quietly through the city streets, heading back out towards the Red Jenny. You do find yourselves stopped at a checkpoint along the way. It seems that the guard have closed off the exits to the city, searching for any Ben Hassarath. I think that word has you are held there for a bit until word makes to the guard that you are allowed to pass.
Yaz stares daggers for profiling.
Yeah. Eventually, though, you're allowed to pass through. They're so even concerned about the Ben Hassarath that they don't even recognize Venehn as you are told to leave, or allowed to leave. You make it back to the Red Jenny, and I think where we cut to is, well, I guess I'll leave it to y'all. Where do you want to be at? So Kant is probably taken back to one of the rooms to rest. I know, Yaz, you had given him your room previously, so I imagine that's where he's going to be staying while he recovers.
Again, it's the only bed big enough. She'll sleep in her office.
Yeah.
One thing I know, Venn had said that we had a spare room. If anyone tries to open Carter's door, she will bodily stop them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, y'all do have some spare spaces. If not within the Red Jenny itself, at least within the quarters that you have for your staff, in the like secondary house from the main winery. But I think y'all have plenty of rooms of space for Ziggy to stay in. You do find as you enter that Reggie is attending to things. We're gonna cut through, I think, a lot of the like, oh, here's what happened to Carter and like all this sort of stuff, because I don't want to have that conversation 100 times. But I imagine you tell Arlo, because Arlo and Wolf are both there. Wolf having just dealt with their own shit, takes that kind of heavily. They go to process. Boy, Tybalt has a pretty rough time with it, finding that out. I think just like excuses. It's a rough thing for a mage to hear about that specifically, and knowing the threat that the idea that it could happen to any of them, especially keeping like their emotions in check and stuff. And so, finding that out, and the emotions that come along with it, that being very difficult, I think Tybalt kind of just retreats to their own space, to his own space, to figure that out. So it's a very, very down mood at the Red Jenny that night, upon your victorious return, having succeeded in your task, but at a pretty heavy cost. So I'd like to kind of pick up with what y'all want to like see, like what scene do y'all want to have next? Do y'all want to be talking to Ziggy? Do the three of you want to have a conversation amongst yourselves? Like what's the best next step? We can even cut forward a few days if that's easier, rather than doing it the night of. Or do y'all just approach Ziggy like as soon, like plop him in a chair and say like, okay, what the fuck's going on?
Venehn's gonna insist that we let him get some rest first, so he's coherent.
Okay. Do the three of you need to have a conversation before talking with Ziggy?
I think what you see is with Garas, what he's doing is that he's just kind of like sitting at the far corner of the Red Jenny. Carter's halberd is leaning next to him, and it just looks like he's in deep thought. Like he's pretty much just thinking really hard. And he's holding a bottle of wine, but it has not been opened yet.
I think Yaz is just sort of mama henning over her father.
Okay. I guess, Venehn, you're just keeping the peace for now?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
Venehn is once again holding it together for everybody else. Now he lets everybody else process how they're going to process and keeps the day-to-day going. Checks on Ziggy. I wouldn't say he's like warm, but he's kind, as kind as he can be, trying to check on him, make sure he's eating, and if he needs help getting around, get him outside, get some fresh air, that kind of thing, and just kind of like we'll make little small talk and stuff, and it's it's probably a little awkward, but he's not like cold or like mean. There's just no like real warmth to it, but he's trying to be nice.
Okay.
I think Ziggy's very appreciative of that too.
Yeah. I mean,
Venehn has not under the same circumstances, but Venen's sort of been where he's been, so
yeah.
I think that might come up just like in passing, like, hey, you know, I've been there, so just tell me if you need anything.
So if it kind of sounds like with the way things are going, with Garas kind of going a bit like checking out a bit after everything, with Yasmera focusing on Akant, with Venehn trying to keep everything going as much as possible for right now, maybe a few days of grieving, and things seem to be pretty tense. I think Reggie just shuts down the winery for the next few days. They put up a closed sign and keeps the people out. I actually think Reggie probably goes into a bit of father mode, I guess, Papa Bear mode, going around to everyone and making sure that they're eating, bringing food, and taking care of that. You see Tybalt leaves a few times, comes back every time, leaves a few times going into the city, and coming back, seems to be kind of in and out. Arlo and Wolf are around too, just trying to keep things up, not really bringing anything up. Arlo still having a presence to maintain in the city, but there isn't really much development over these next couple of days. I do think two scenes will kind of stir things up a bit, though. If we're going a couple days further,
Venehn does want to, like, once everybody's had a little bit of time, is going to sit everybody down and be like, oh, we have to explain his disappearance somehow.
Yeah. That might be something to bring up after. So I think the first thing is, where do I want to start with this? What's a good order of operations?
None, because math is hard and stressful.
Let's start with, I want to do a little scene with Akant first. I think, as you've been tending into it, like, he's recovered to a point over a couple of days, at least to a point that, like, is sitting up a little bit in the bed. Is still obviously bound to the bed while everything kind of heals. But you come in with, I mean, I imagine you're bringing him food and checking on him or sitting with him throughout the day. I think there comes a point if, as you're, like, tending to him, you come in, like, one morning and he's there, like, kind of sitting up a bit already. He has a book in his lap. I imagine you brought, like, a pile in for him to read, just so he doesn't just die of boredom.
Nuts, yeah.
And he's got, like, I think Reggie lent him a pair of glasses, which are just, like, barely sitting at the edge of his nose as he's reading the book. And as you come in with food, he says, Morning.
Morning.
So, how's everything going on the outside?
About as well as you'd expect.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that. Takes the glasses off. I look ridiculous. Sets them to the side. He gestures the edge of the bed and sort of, like, pats the edge of it. He says, sit down for a sec.
She'll sit. She does not look good. I feel like she's doing that thing of a harried caretaker who
Yeah.
is exhausted and bleary-eyed, but as they walk into the room, they put on the mask of,
Yeah.
here you are, let's take care of you now. But she's hasn't bathed, like, is a complete mess. Her, her undercut is growing out. Like, it's not good. Not good.
Yeah. I definitely think he kind of sighs you over as you sit down and says, all right. I've been thinking a lot about kind of how to approach this, but why are you giving yourself such a hard time about this?
What are you talking about?
Everything that happened. What did you do wrong?
We wouldn't be in this situation if it weren't for me.
Why?
If we'd learned more, if I had gotten her to trust me better, if I'd had more information, we could have found out what she was planning.
And why is that on you? Why are you putting that on yourself? Listen, you don't think I'm kicking myself that she got away after all of that? I've been hunting her down twice as long as you have.
None of them would have been in this mess. If I hadn't asked them to be.
Oh boy. They would have been in this mess twice as hard if you had told them not to. Your friends are stubborn. They're idiots.
They're my idiots.
They care about you. You would have done the same thing for them. I was in the room when Carter lost control. And listen, I'm not saying I'm as close to him as any of you. I knew him for a fraction of the time, but there was nothing that anybody could have done about that. Even Carter. It just happens. Listen, magic scares the shit out of me. But I at least understand that when you've got a gift, it's hard not to use it. And when it comes with a price, sometimes it's worth it. And it doesn't sound like any of you did this because you were being foolish or self-centered or even doing this for your own games. Fuck, it's not like any of you were being paid to be there and keep that girl safe. You did it because it was the right thing to do.
And look where it got us.
Sometimes things go bad. It's hard to be pissed about that. Well, kicking myself over every mistake that I've made. It's what keeps me going a lot of the time. But long time ago I realized that if you start letting those weigh you down, stop you from moving, what's the point of being alive?
I don't feel anything.
It's because you're not letting yourself. Go outside, scream, punch something, cry, whatever you want to do. But you gotta let this out. You keep it in, it's gonna ruin you. And then all those people out there that are doing all the shitty things that you're trying to stop, well, they've won.
I'll try to keep that in mind, Father.
Listen, yes. I know that I haven't been around for most of the time you've grown up, and I appreciate it that you've even given me the chance to be your father at this point. But I am not gonna lie here and let you do this to yourself.
I'll feel something again when I have the time.
All right. I'm gonna have Reggie bring my food from now on. I'm not gonna eat anything you bring me. You go deal with your shit. You don't have to take care of me.
Fine. Have it your way.
All right. And he just reaches over, grabs his glasses, and starts reading his book.
She stands up in a huff and walks out and slams the door. Just like a fucking teenager.
Let's see. Yeah, so that happens. Does Yaz, what does Yaz do after that?
Okay, I
Went to
just
father's
left.
room
So
like the
that
plague.
happens.
I think she avoids her father's room like the plague.
Okay. The the next day, yeah, we'll do one other event before y'all can get back to your stuff or anything you want to do. So 2 days after the events, at the Chantry, about middle of the day, I think Venehn, you're probably out in like the main area, maybe like dusting tables or restringing your bow or something like that. You hear the sound of horses outside.
Great. I'll go see who's here.
There are you open the doors, and dismounting on horseback, you see in their gleaming warden armor, Isaiah and Lucia. as they dismount from the horses, leaving them in the stables. And then Isaiah kind of glances your direction, gives like a half smile as Lucia comes around the other side too. And Lucia just like pushes like straight up to you and just like tackles you in a hug. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Lucia.
Hi, Venehn.
Isaiah?
Hello. We received a letter about what happened. Thought we'd come by.
It's appreciated.
How's everything?
Everything is... everything. Yaz and Garas won't speak to anybody. Got a Ben Hasrath, or former Ben Hasrath, holed up in one of our rooms, an injured Grey Warden in the other, and Reggie's become an iguana guy.
You see Reggie like behind. I think we just cut to Reggie, who is wearing like a.
He's gone full Jimmy Buffett, right?
I was about to
he's
say
wearing
he
like a
has to be
bit.
Jimmy
He's wearing like a
Buffett.
loose fitting, like silk, like blue silk robe, that's like cinched at the waist.
I'm
Just
just
like
seeing Reggie as Sita with an iguana.
with a big iguana around, and he's just like mixing himself a drink right now, just like if you're the pina colada.
Is he looking up like where can he get a standee for a parrot if they want to make a non-caged parrot just sitting around in the room?
Yeah, just like shaking himself, pouring himself a drink.
So I am trying to keep everything running as best I can.
Well, that's about what I would have expected. Lucia kind of pushes, like moves forward, like has kind of straightened back up after hugging and says, "Is Garas inside?"
Probably. He's been sitting in the corner with the halberd for about 3 days.
All right then. And she just like pushes in the door and moves in. You see, she says, "Garas, where are you?" As she pushes into the red Jenny.
You went like
And before we get to
ass-beating
that
boy.
scene, Isaiah, as Lucia disappears, says, "Yeah, I expected that. I told her to be delicate, but she was insistent on riding over here as soon as she heard."
I doubt she knows how to be delicate.
Oh no, I fully intend that to go badly. But is there anything you need?
I'm sure there is, but it can wait.
Well, I'm here to help for as long as I can be here. I should be able to stick around for a few days before I need to return.
I'm sure it's way beneath your talents, but if you don't mind doing some cleaning, I'd like to get the place open again.
Right. I'm sure I can help with that. I heard you have another warden staying here too.
Yes, dwarf, old, grumpy, Sigmund something.
Oh, Ziggy's here.
Ziggy.
Right. I don't suppose you would have ever met. I heard he was dispatched here. I wasn't involved in that myself, but Garahel mentioned it.
He's pretty busted up, but they seem to think he'll be okay. Took a bad fall. Off a balcony. Several stories.
Well, I'd like to see him if I can, but I can help you with cleaning first.
Oh, he should be awake.
Right. Well, I'll put on my happiest face. Let's get inside.
Someone should.
And she follows you inside. as Reggie. Does anyone like a drink?
I'll take one.
Just and pours a couple of little like martini glasses, sliding them on the in front of you.
Like I said, we're coping.
I love the look, Reginald.
It's a good shirt.
Right. You take your drinks.
I think the
Garas.
iguana, Mr. Tickle Toes, like eats the olive out of Reggie's
Yeah.
glass.
He gets his own little virgin pina colada.
Yeah. Little
Yeah.
tiny bit there.
Oh my god, now I'm just imagining it with one of those beer hats on.
Yeah.
The hat
Reggie,
with the
like,
beer cans.
Reggie takes like a jar of dried crickets and like just pours it on the top of the glass too.
Reggie's gonna turn this iguana into our mascot. Watch.
I love Reggie.
Such a good
yeah.
hire.
Best NPC
Yeah.
got kidnapped. Got fired
Oh.
and hired.
Hired. You didn't
Hired
kidnap
his
him.
ass.
He came here all on his own.
He could have said no.
After
could've-
Yasmera may have gotten him fired.
Yep.
I just spilled some wine on him, all right?
Exactly. He still could have
Listen.
said no.
It's not our fault he took it extremely personally.
He was having a hard time in that
Yeah.
job.
This is a way better job. This is basically retirement for him.
Yeah,
This is
that's what it
basically.
yeah.
Yeah, y'all pay him very well for what he does. Garrus, where are you at?
Garas is currently in his room. He's been sleeping in a lot. Like pretty much his schedule has just been like sleeping in late, training, and then going right back to his room, not even really socializing with anyone.
From your room, muffled through the door, as you're lying in your bed, it's like mid-morning right now. You hear your name being shouted in a familiar voice out in the main area. You
Garas
hear heavy thun 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 of footfalls down towards your door.
Garas grabs the pillow, puts it over his face, takes a long sigh, and then moves it to the side, and then kind of like gets out of bed and
The door like pops open, just like throws like smashes against the wall, and Lucia steps and says, "On your feet, Warden."
my cup of water on my table. It fell when you opened the door.
On your feet now.
And he looks at her and he's like, Lucia, I understand what you're doing, but I don't.
She moves to the bed and like grabs you by the scruff and starts dragging you out of the bed.
Lucia, no, Lucia, wait, just hold on a second, please. And he stands up, adjusts himself, and closes the door. And he sits down, and Garrus looks like he's been drinking for days, but there's not a single open bottle of wine inside the room. There's nothing like that looks like he's been doing anything, but it just looks like he's at his low and is showing physically, because like, there's a guy who always upkeeps himself, always looking presentable, but he has now a scruffy beard. It looks like he's just hasn't been seeing the sun for a while. It shows
Yeah.
in him.
You look like shit.
I feel like shit. I'm a Grey Warden. I took an oath that I have to defeat the things that go bump in the night. And it's my fault that I created something that's exactly what I'm supposed to be protecting people against. And now, the last thing they said to me before they flew away, before I saw that monster who was formerly my friend, before they flew away, said, "I'll see you again." So this means that this is not this is not the first time I'm going to see, but first or last time I'm going to see him. And then next time I see him, I'm going to have to do something I never thought I'd have to do. He could have avoided a life like this if I just didn't ask him to join with us at the beginning. He wouldn't be like this. If I just left him alone.
She lets out a long sigh and grabs a chair, like slams down in front of you and sits on it. And she says, "You took an oath. You both did. You made me take the same oath. Pushed me to. Didn't really make me. Couldn't really make me do anything. But the point is the same. Do you think your oath ends because you failed? Do you think you're relieved of it because you failed?"
No, it isn't. No.
Do you know how many of our comrades in arms are out there dying right now? Defending people against the Blight.
No, but it's... No, but it's just... Carter didn't have to get pulled into this.
From my understanding, Carter was in this before you came along. Carter was an apostate mage. He was your friend. And you're going to make sure that thing that killed him is punished for what it did. I understand what you're going through. I've lost people too. But we don't have the luxury of hiding from it. You saved people that day as well, from what I understand. You saved the divine.
Yeah. We did some pretty awesome stuff that day. It's just going to be... It's going to be so different without him.
I won't disagree with you there. Your group's a lot less fun without Connor. He was the funniest one among you.
God, he was hilarious. He looks over at the halberd in the corner, sighs, and he picks it up. I know what we need to do. But first I need to take a bath because I smell immensely.
You smell like shit.
Yes, I do. Not bathing for several days will do that after thinking an explosion.
All right.
Thanks, Lucy.
I don't know why I do this to myself.
Oh, it's because I'm cute as a button, that's why.
Right.
Just tell everyone downstairs that I would like to meet them all outside in a couple minutes.
I'm sorry, am I not your commanding officer? Do I run errands for you?
Oh my god, Commander, can you please send a message to those downstairs that I need to see them outside in a couple of minutes? And he leans over and kisses her forehead.
This is why they don't tell you to date people in your workplace. She stands up, puts the chair back, picks the glass of water up off the floor, says, I'm glad you're okay.
Thanks.
And she leaves the room.
Garas will head off, bathe, and eventually come downstairs.
Lucia comes back out as well, actually, while they were talking, let's Venehn, you take Isaiah to where Ziggy is resting. All right. Yeah, it's been a couple days. Ziggy, I think you're getting to the point where you could probably be on your feet now with the leg brace and the magical healing and everything like that. Are you just trying to keep to yourself for the most part, staying in your room, or what is? Oh, you're muted.
Yep. Yeah, I would say so. He's got his own things that he's going through right now, and he definitely doesn't want to step on anybody else's emotional toes. However, I think he heard Lucia and Isaiah from his
definitely
room.
heard Lucia.
Yeah. So I think as you guys are cleaning up, maybe kind of wrapping up, you hear a bit of a thump, a crash, and a curse from Ziggy's room. And when you go to it, you can see that he's on the floor. His armor is half on, and he's trying to pick himself back up from the ground.
Venehn, are you sticking around? Are you coming in for this one?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna miss this.
So I think as Venehn moves to the door and Isaiah just kind of like knocks on the door frame politely as Venehn has opened it, says, "Hi, Ziggy."
Stone shit. Commander, my
At
apologies.
ease. At ease. Why are you trying to put on armor right now?
Instead of answering, he just kind of looks up at Venehn, puts a hand out.
Come on. Oh, you're so much heavier than you look.
Just dense.
All
I
right,
think
old
I got
man.
a few of the street stones that are in my kidneys right now.
I heard you took quite a fall, Warden.
Yeah. I don't think I want to do that again.
I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know how many more falls like that you can take.
In his defense, it did look really cool.
I'm sure it did. Like a meteor. Well, Gerhel filled me in a bit on your mission here. Doesn't seem like it's going very well. I'm glad you're okay, though.
Thank you, Commander. Is she a commander?
Yes, she
The
is.
proper title?
Yeah,
Okay,
she's a commander of like the Eastern Approach. Currently stationed at the what is the name of the fortress that y'all? I'd have to look it back up. The fortress that y'all liberated.
Dang, she from the East Coast?
Yeah.
The name of the fortress.
Isaiah's from the Jersey Shore.
East Coast, Beast Coast.
I'm so glad that you're all right. That was a horrible
I'm not
Jersey
giving.
accent. I don't know what that was.
God, Yasmera, your hair looks so fantastic today.
I'm not gonna start.
No, we can't start.
I won't stop.
We can't get Jersey savvy.
We can't. No.
We will never
Don't.
end.
Don't.
There are two savvies inside all of you.
One of them is from New Jersey.
One of them is from New Jersey and is constantly fighting to get out.
I'm glad you're right, though.
I am too. And it's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Yes.
Your brother was doing well the last I saw him.
Still making a fool of himself, but somehow falling up. So. Misses you on the front lines.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get this done.
Right. Looks at Venehn and back to you and says, have you filled them in on any of that?
Not entirely.
It hasn't really been a good time to talk.
No, I'd
And
imagine not.
Afraid with Yaz and Garas the way they are right now, if he says the wrong thing, they might both just try to slit his throat, so.
Well, hopefully Lucy has seen to some of that.
Delicately.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I can tell you, Venehn, and I'll fill the others in, that Ziggy here is one of our best. Trained half the wardens that currently fighting on
Been sitting at
Antiva right
Lieutenant
now.
Warden for 15 years, Commander. Right?
Well, that's because you have a hard time following orders.
Oh, a loose cannon. On the edge, doesn't play by the rules.
I'd say more Ziggy has always had a hard time with the constraints of command.
I would like to think I take orders well enough. I just, look, you have to deal with a lot of bureaucracy. My boots belong on the ground.
You'll do just fine around here.
I'll say that not every commander would throw themselves out a window for someone under his charge.
She's not under my
Formally.
charge anymore, Commander.
Well, formally then. Well, I suppose I won't spill the beans on any of that. I'll leave that for another conversation. We can, once we get everybody in working order. I have a appointment, I believe, with Tybalt. Requested my assistance on something, so I'm going to speak with him. Would you happen to know where he's at?
He's been in and out the last few days, but he should be back this evening.
Right. Well, help you tidy this place up so it's not so gloomy.
Thank you, Isaiah.
Of course.
Does anyone smell that? Smells like a nug rotted in the summer sun.
That's
I think that was
you.
coming-
Oh, God.
There's sort of a two fronts of odors that are coming from your room and from Garrus's room right now.
You can use my
very-
shower if you want.
Shower. Fancy. Happily.
We like to live well.
Venehn.
Ziggy.
Oh, great.
Oh, you know it's going to stick.
I was going to say thank you. I know I've been kind of a burden here the last few days, and you have a lot of questions. And I know that been holding it together for everybody really hard. And you didn't have to extend any of that to me. I appreciate it, Finn. You're a good man.
No one has said that to me in a long time. I think Ziggy, more than anybody, can probably see that Venehn is just like, there's just a little thin veneer that's holding everything back, and it gets thinner every day.
Yeah, I think he definitely picks up on that.
You're a guest in our home, so you get treated like one. For now, once you're back together, we're going to put you to work. We live well because we all earn our keep around here.
I can do that. I think I'm going to start earning my keep by eliminating the odor on me.
Use my shower. Nice.
So, baths and showers had. You all get cleaned up. Lucia comes back out and advises all of you reluctantly. Says, "The dumb one wants to speak with everyone."
The dumb.
Outside.
You never called me that to my face, but
The dumber one.
right. Okay.
I think Yaz is just coming in. The montage was Yaz woke up early, refused to go see her father, went out back, grabbed a wheelbarrow, and spent the entire morning filling it with as many rocks as she could possibly find. Took the wheelbarrow up to the hill that Carter had turned into nightmarish bullshit in her dreams, and proceeded to throw every single rock in the wheelbarrow as hard as she could at the hill, and then brought the wheelbarrow back and came back inside.
And that's self-care, kids.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, no, Gares, I was going to say.
Garas eventually comes downstairs.
I imagine Yasmera coming back, sweating, just
smears dirt across her face, drenched in sweat.
He comes downstairs holding the halberd, and he looks around at everyone. I would like to say goodbye to Carter today, if everyone is up for it.
Yeah.
Lucia and Isaiah nod.
Yasmera? Okay. Follow me, everyone. And he'll head outside, and he
You
heads
want
over.
to wait till like Tybalt and
Yeah, gonna wait till everyone.
Arlo is
Gonna wait till
over
everyone
there?
shows back.
Okay,
come back
I
to
just
the
want to make
table.
sure. So you say you make the you begin.
I
to
like
make
go
the
outside. I
prep-
make preparations and everything, and I eventually do come back in,
Yeah.
waiting for everyone else to show up.
Yeah, so I think maybe I think I want to put a pin in that. We can do some other scenes. I think that's where I want to end the session on. So but you begin getting things ready for that. Probably like a couple hours later, Tybalt, Ty baby.
Hi, baby.
Hi, baby.
Comes back from the city, has your carriage with him, and brings that around to the stables, and yeah, I think it goes to the back of it and begins to like unload something like large off of it. Is struggling a bit. Lucia goes out to like help the two of them like catch up, and like comes back in. Like they have a conversation. Eventually, Lucia just like takes it and starts like bringing it, like takes it like into the back like of the winery, and Tybalt comes in the front where Isaiah and probably some of you are like catching up, maybe having conversation over drinks or something, and Lucia goes over to Isaiah, and she, they hug each other and says, "Very glad that you're here. I was worried you might not have gotten my letter, and Isaiah says, "No, I did. It was very interesting. Do you want to talk more about it right now?" And Ty says, kind of looks around and says, "It might not be the right time, but kind of like looking over to if the rest of you are in there, like Venehn and Garas and Yaz.
I'm just staring at him like, what the fuck? That better not be like a pet or something. I'm afraid lose it.
It's an even bigger iguana.
Venen's gonna freaking lose it.
Do you say something about it?
Yeah, you know what? I'll wander over. That better not be 1, anything living that needs taken care of, or 2, explosive.
Oh, no. No, that's that's just something I picked up on the way. Figured it might help. But no, I was I suppose I should just fill you in. I sent a letter to Isaiah the day after everything. I'm gonna leave for a little while. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but I still have some connections back in to Winter, and maybe something that might help with the situation with Carter.
Okay.
At least a way to maybe track him down.
Okay.
I say I'm going to need your help, though, at least. Reaching out to some people. And Isaiah gives a nod and says, "Of course, anything you need. You can travel with some of our wardens heading north right now, so you don't have to make the journey on your own. You can travel back with us to the fortress, and we can talk more about it there." Tibon gives a nod and says, "I just didn't want to leave until I knew that everyone was doing all right."
Do you mean something to help? A spell? An artifact? What?
I don't really know. Carter's not the first mage that became an abomination. And there are stories of certain litanies that can... Again, it's complicated, but there may be a way to at least track down or contain the abomination and maybe put Carter's soul at rest at the very least.
Do you need anything from us?
No. Just maybe a horse for the road.
I think we can arrange that. Fine.
Of course, yeah.
Like I said, it's a long shot. But I know that Carter would have done the same for me.
In a heartbeat.
Yes.
All right then. Better make sure that Lucy is... Better help her with that.
Somehow I don't think she needs it.
You hear kind of like a clanking from the back, and some noise as he heads back to help her. The rest of you have some more drinks and catch up. If I don't know if there's any conversations you want to have, like Isaiah or Lucia, as the day winds on. No.
No,
Um,
Venehn refuses to acknowledge that he's anything but fine.
About 45 minutes, an hour later, the you hear some noise from the back, and there is and Lucia and Tybalt come back from the back rooms, and then you hear a different noise as sort of wheeling themselves in on a chair. You see Akant pushing himself forward. Just this massive bulking Kunari in this wheelchair.
It's a throne.
Yeah.
Probably got the big old beefy tires too.
Hang on, right
Go
before he comes
off-roading.
around the corner, you hear from in the hallway. Mentor's breath. I can't watch the wheels.
You hear, "Ha! I'll race you." As he pushes himself forward, and comes wheeling into the room, and says, "Oh, thank God, I'm out of that room now." Wheeling himself into the main winery, over to the bar, where it just like reaches up and grabs a bottle from behind the bar.
Hey,
in front
we have somebody for that.
of and Reggie says, "No, I am on break now. Do what you want," and pours himself one more drink as he takes the iguana and goes out to sit on the porch.
Well, I know what I'm getting him for his birthday.
I think at that point, Garas is like walking back inside. He passes by Reggie. He goes, "Hey, Reggie, every clock is margarita clock. Am I right?" And he's like, he heads inside. He looks like he has been working in dirt for a while, is what he's been doing. Okay. Is everyone here?
Yeah, I think Arlo and Wolf also came back at some point. So they're here too, as you've all been gathering out in the front room.
Okay. If you would all follow me outside, please. And Garas heads outside, to where where all like the fruit trees that we have set up at the winery, all those fruit trees we have.
Mhm.
And amongst them, in a little tiny clearing, Garas has put down Carter's halberd, and he dressed it up a bit, put some flowers around it, tied some vines around it with flowers on them, and he put a tiny little placard that looks like he just wrote on a piece of wood, but it's very nice looking. Like he didn't write like he did like some burnt work on it, and it says on it, Andros Philippe Bastille du Cartier, mage and friend, and it's like sitting right in front of the halberd. His name was Andros Philippe Bastille du Cartier, but we called him Carter. We first called him Carter because, he had a really long name and that was really hard to remember. So we shortened it to Carter. I did not think that he would be so willing to just join us on our adventures, but he did. And every single day, that man grew from just a face that could be lost in the crowd to this wonderful, beautiful, emotional, and loving person that you would never ever expect someone of his condition to have. He told us jokes. He treated us like family. Because to us, he was family. And he pulls out a bottle of wine, uncorks it, takes a sip, and pours a little bit on the marker. To Carter. We'll never forget you. And he passes the bottle around.
Do Yaz or Ben say anything?
Is Yaz gonna say anything? Venehn, oh no, go ahead.
No, I think she just takes a sip, pours a little bit, passes it on, but just tears.
Venehn, I think, has just been kind of like staring the whole time, hasn't said anything. Just weird in and of itself. I mean, Yaz passes in the bottle, like, starts to take a drink, stops, hands it off to whoever's next, and just turns around and walks away.
Garas will go after him. Ben. Hey.
Go, enjoy your ceremony. You worked hard on it.
No, but do you need space or?
No, Garas, I don't need space. I've had space. I've had space for a fucking week. I've had space for a fucking week while by myself I kept our lives running. You sat in the corner for 3 days and didn't speak to anyone. Yasmera is worse. She's either silent or breaking our furniture. Meanwhile, I'm putting on a smile. And I'm taking care of Ziggy. And I'm entertaining our guests. And I'm cleaning our home. And while you all grieve, who is picking up the pieces and holding everything together again?
Thank you.
It's too late for thank you.
No, it's not.
You don't get to decide that for me.
No, I don't get to decide it, but I'm still telling you, thank you. And then, no lie here, but without you, we would fall apart at the seams.
I don't need this right now.
No, listen.
No, I'm not going to listen. You listen. I've been listening. For months, for years, I've been listening. You listen. You go out there and you have your ceremony and you plant your flowers and you name him Andrope Philippe Bastille de Cartier, mage and friend. This is the second time that magic has taken family from me. You can go out there and you can pretend like Arthur was this perfect angel who never did anything wrong. But this is on us. We encouraged him to do this, lean into his magic, join the tournament in fucking Tevinter. Become an archmage or a magister or whatever. Become powerful. And now he's a fucking demon walking around somewhere. I'm not doing this again. My home and my family and my fucking arm were taken from me because of magic, and now Carter is too. And now you sat in the corner drinking and sobbing for a couple of days, and now everything is fine? I don't think so. I am always chasing you all down, getting you to deal with your feelings. You lock yourself in a room on the ship, and I am the one sitting outside the door telling you, Garas, please. We are your friends, and we need you, and we love you. I am telling Yasmera, please. We have to continue on. Go get your mother, go get your father, deal with this stuff with the divine, because we need you, and we love you. It's always me. And I left so I wouldn't cause a scene at something you worked very hard on, because I know you care. And I know that would be unfair to you. Everyone wants to talk to Venehn about how they feel. Everyone comes to Venehn. Venehn is always coming to everyone, saying, I know you're having trouble, I know you're struggling, but we need you, we love you, we care for you. When's my turn? I'm done holding it together for your sakes. You can figure it out on your own, you're adults. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you.
Garas will nod and they'll head on back.
I think Ziggy was hanging back with a Kant. And Van, if you're okay with it, I think he heard that. Are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I caused drama, everybody.
It's the thing that all the cool kids are doing.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I think Ziggy will come outside about a minute later with a couple of cups. And he'll motion. Are you standing, sitting?
I think it's probably just found somewhere to sit. Just sitting. Stewing.
I think
Feeling
Ziggy
bad
will
about
come-
yelling at Garas.
He'll come over and he'll offer you one of the cups, and he'll, take about 45 minutes getting seated down. And we'll say, we don't have to talk if you don't want to talk. If you want to talk, I'll listen. If you got any questions, I'll answer.
When I was young, I was Dalish, real Dalish. Lived in a clan out in the wildlands. And the young mage blew up. Literally. In the middle of camp one day. Set the entire thing on fire. As far as I know, I'm the only one that lived. And I lost my arm in the process. That's another story. Welcome.
Ziggy thinks about Bree again for a moment. Go ahead.
The Dalish don't treat their mages well. And even with everything I'd seen, I thought, that's not fair. Maybe if he'd had help figuring out what he was, who he was, that wouldn't have happened. Welcoming Carter into my heart was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Because I loved him, but I didn't trust him. Until one day I did. And yet, here we are. The fate has him now. And I didn't lose a limb this time. Somehow this one feels worse.
And yet you're still here.
Because if I wasn't, everyone else would fall apart.
You might hit me for this, but are you so sure of that?
No.
Your friends are they're not that dumb. They're tough. Red Jenny is there's stories that are told about you.
We worked hard for that.
I saw you at Hosberg. You were all of you were instrumental in saving so many lives.
Ziggy, I'm starting to feel like you're stalking me.
What, because we were at one battle together and now I'm in Valrayo? I'm on a mission.
Listen, if I'm the mission, just say so.
Oh, you wish.
Whatever, old man. No, I know full well that this is on me and I don't have to be this way.
I think your friend Garas is going to be fine. I think the only one that you're hurting is yourself. And if you think that you're already in enough pain, maybe, and I'm not telling you what to do, but maybe you should stop adding to it.
Not going to hit you.
That's good, because it's my broken arm on that side.
One day while you're not expecting it, I could put an arrow through your eye from 500 paces. But I like you well enough not to.
Cool.
And you're not wrong. They'll be fine. But if I don't make absolutely 100% sure that the only family I've been able to hold on to is fine,
I promise you that I understand what you're feeling. I am going to go back in, but lifts himself up. You keep saying how much your friends need you. I think you need them. I'm gonna walk in.
Venehn's gonna get very drunk.
Sounds like everyone is. I think back at the marker, the bottle's been passed around. Just like a moment while the conversations and stuff are going on. As they finish, Lucia like finishes off the bottle, and looks at the marker and staying next to Isaiah says, "In death, sacrifice. Say gives a nod, and they head off. Arlo and Wolf sticking around for a bit longer before heading back inside too. Eventually, all of you ending up back in the Red Jenny to find the. There are probably about 12 open bottles on the bar. Reggie's behind, like mixing some more drinks. And as you're all like going in, grabbing alcohol, beginning to like converse and chat and sit around the tables, you begin to hear from outside a little bit of like music picking up, and realize that a Kant has gotten his hands on Arlo's lute and is just plucking a melody on the front porch, sitting there in his wheelchair. And as the mood kind of picks up a little bit, they begin to have conversations around the tables. People like swapping stories, talking about Carter. Lucia shares the story with like telling those that weren't there about the first time meeting Carter at the tower, and how y'all how he and the rest of you responsible for getting her kicked out of the wardens or the Templars, and Asaya regales the group with stories of like how Carter scared the shit out of her with dream spells, and everyone chatting and conversing. And at some point, or like kind of later, and as everybody's in their cups, some of you sitting around the table, Lucia, who's had a few drinks, kind of sets the bottle down and says, "All right, I suppose the big question, because I don't think I've ever asked, how did you meet Carter anyway?"
Oh, it's well, actually, it's a kind of a two-part story. We kind of have to go away from the beginning of how we met Carter. There was this job we were doing, and afterwards it didn't go as well as we thought.
You're forgetting the part when I ran into you two dumb fucks first.
Did that part happen really? I don't remember how that. I thought it was afterwards you ran
No.
into us.
I think
No,
after
it
several hours, Venehn finally speaks up. He was the barkeep at the only safe place in this town for us.
Yeah, he was.
He was our safe space. And he put up with us. Which is more than can be
Mainly-
said for most people.
Mainly,
Not-
he put up with us.
Yeah, not many people would do that for us.
You know, the Red Jenny was his idea.
Yeah, it was. He had that really pretty picture up on the wall.
What was the name of that woman? Did he ever say?
I assume it was Jenny.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he ever said.
Lucia picks up the bottle again and says, "To Carter."
Yep, to Carter. The first person to tolerate our dumbasses.
Hopefully not the last.
Andros Philippe Steele de Cartier. And also Sebastian, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, Sebastian, that is something we need
On
to
occasion.
take care of eventually, but that's for the future.
High off to the side. "To the Wyvern."
Though Ivan.
As we cut away, regaling each other with stories, that is where we're going to end our session for tonight. Well done, y'all. And that's it. Boy, that was an emotional one. But let's go ahead and is everyone doing all right? Does everyone want to do stars and wishes?
Yeah.
All right.
I've apologized for my misdeeds.
All right. Let's do that. Who wants to go first?
I think Carter should go first. I think Sheeta should go first.
All right. Man. A lot out of Van. A
Me?
lot from Venehn today. Yeah.
He's grown quite a bit.
Well, and I've always kind of known that you've been playing this long con game with your personality and what the layers underneath that surface layer. And you know, like all of us, all of you guys especially, like I'm seeing little bits, but Venehn so rarely gets that angry, you know, and it's like all of his armor fell off. And you know, I feel bad for what Garas had to receive at the other end of that, but it was so raw and visceral and real. So I got to give my my star to Van for that. And my wish is once we get past some of this painful stuff, that the red Jenny and its new little wart that it's got on the side of it can go have grand adventures and have jokes and make new stories. Episode 51 on.
A new chapter.
Mhm.
Thank you, Sita.
I'll
Let's
go.
next. Go for it.
Because my star is going to go to Sita. And Ziggy, I had an inkling from last time that that maybe Ziggy and Venehn would be on the same page about some things, or at least have some like similar experiences. And you proved me right today. But yeah, that last conversation between the two of them, especially, I think solidified, like, this is the first time in quite a long time that I think Venehn has, like, as much as he did like take a bunch of feelings out on Garas. Sorry, Wally. I'm sorry I yelled at you. This is the first time in a long time that I think he has actually like met someone that he felt like, I mean, probably since like he met Garas and Carter and Yasmera, that he really felt like, oh, you'll get it. You'll get it. And yeah, I just like that little bonus Ziggy monologue that we got was so good, and also like very, very sweet in a kind of stern way, in a like, hey, I know you know we're on the same page with this kind of thing. Here's what I'm seeing. And here's what I think about it. And I just really liked it. I really appreciated it. Yeah, I think Venehn and Ziggy are gonna get along just fine.
I think the theme of this session was tough love.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was gonna say it for like my star, but I'll say it when I go.
My wish. I want to, since we are sort of like drawing the Carter's story to a close, and like, and I think for the most part getting ready to like to really be able to like move on from that, which feels cathartic in a way. I want to do some kind of job with Ziggy, to just fully introduce him to the shenanigans that are the friends of Red Jenny. Like I want once Ziggy's back on his feet and everything, I want to dive straight in and do some real classic Red Jenny bullshit.
Yeah,
Oh, if
he
only
needs.
y'all knew what I have planned.
I'm
next.
He
so
needs to be
excited.
inducted. He needs to be inducted.
We
by
have to
fire.
haze
We have to.
Ziggy is the thing. It is absolute trial by fire. All right.
Here's my question,
You've
though.
seen us being like people, but have you seen us being the friends of Red Jenny?
Here's
no.
the question. Do they haze him in their job? Like, do they stick him with a job during a heist just to haze him? Like,
I think the whole job is. I think working with us is hazing. I think
Kind
we
of in
are
its purest form.
we are the personification of hazing, and you can either hack it or you can't. We are like the worst fraternity. No, but no, I'm really excited because I think Ziggy's gonna have some opinions about how we do things. Whether he shares them, that's
Ziggy's
up to
no
him.
Templar.
No, Ziggy fucks.
Ziggy fucks.
And we're gonna fuck around and find out. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want some real bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Love it. All right. Sid or Wally, one of the two of you.
I think my star is gonna go to Val for literally just playing therapist for every single one of the NPCs this evening.
I was like,
can
how do I bring
only
everyone out of their funks?
Imagine. Like, Val came into this like, okay. 20-minute session here, 20-minute session there, 20-minute session there.
should
So
be charging by the
We'll be
hour.
expecting your invoice later on.
Really should.
We'll pay you. We'll
This
pay our
is a
invoice
3-hour therapeutic session, so bless you. No, it was quite good. And again, tough
you.
love, 100%. I don't know, y'all. Wish-wise, I don't know. Still got some processing to do, I think. I'll come back to you. Because it was just
Alright.
that was a lot.
It definitely was.
It was a whole bunch.
Yeah, that's me.
Thank you. All right. Wally.
My star, it goes to everyone today because we roleplayed some. Everyone today roleplayed how someone processes grief. That's like, I get like we're saying like the theme of tables was tough love, but also we saw every single character processes grief in some form of fashion. Like we saw Venehn just trying to keep everything together. We saw Yasmera just kind of like locking into herself, but like taking out her emotion in non-conventional ways. And we saw Garas just shut down completely until they had that person to kind of go like, hey, I'm gonna scoop you up and pull you out of this. And yeah, like Val, you were being therapist to all of us, but I definitely want to shine a light. Definitely though, Ziggy really helped Venehn at that point because Venehn needed someone that they could talk to that got what they're going through, and Ziggy was 100% that. Like, I had a feeling Ziggy was going to help someone in this session today. I didn't know who, but I knew he would, and I was very, 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 very happy with that, and I really liked it. My wish, though, my wish, I think it's just like Van's wish. I want to see Ziggy have to put up with us when we're at our worst. We are at our best when we're at our worst, and I want to see Ziggy deal with that 100%. And I'm very curious to see how if he will just take it, dive in head first, or just have that moment of like, how do you idiots function? You should not be able to function at all. You were the idiots who, you were Red Jenny. This makes no sense, kind of thing. I think I want Ziggy to have that that moment of, oh man, they're not as great as everyone was saying they were. I want to have that moment with Ziggy.
They're not as great as everyone was saying they were. They're even better.
I want to have that where like at first yeah, he thinks that we are the worst completely. Like, why are they doing this? But then by the end of it, he has that, oh, I get it now kind of moment. And
There's a method to the madness.
yeah, I want to see that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I really want to see that process with Ziggy as now he's part of this crew.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to know you guys all over again.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Thank you. Well, yeah, and I think the plan is that with this lead off and this kind of send off, I think we're gonna be doing something special for the next session or two. We're gonna be doing a little 2-shot.
Really?
Yeah,
It's time.
It's time.
it's time. Run by our very own Sita here, which I'm very excited to see.
Shit, I am? Fuck. You didn't tell me that.
But before we do, I've never done this. I'm going to do a little epilogue before we end here on our session 50.
Ooh.
2 weeks later, the Red Jenny back up and running, open its doors again to the public. Reggie still has toned down a little bit of the bohemian dress, but it still has a bit of flair that he's wearing to accompany his new iguana that sits on the counter at all times at the Red Jenny, become kind of a fixture of the establishment. I'm going to say, Garas, you are heading out for the day. You're heading out for your training when a courier comes riding up the road, stopping, reining in their horse in front of you and says, excuse me, sir, I have a letter for you. Hands it out to you.
Oh, sweet. Nothing for me. Hot damn.
You take the letter, and as the courier rides off, you unfold it to see a beautifully adorned invitation written in stunning calligraphy in like a gold embroidered font or embossed font. And in this calligraph script, there is, and it says in bold letters at the top, "A night of wicked grace. You are cordially invited to attend the foremost gambling tournament at the Sweet Song Brandy Parlor to occur in 3 weeks hence. The buy-in for the tournament, a small sum of 10,000 silver, with a pot of 100,000 to the victor. All amenities and comforts will be provided to our distinguished guests. We beseech you to attend. Your humble host, Marquis Valmont."
Garrus looks at this for a second. He was about to go, oh shit, hey guys, free vacation. I'm like, fuck.
And that is where
We're back, baby.
That's where we're going to end our session for tonight. Thank you, everyone out there, for watching.
Oh, we're gonna rob that man for everything he has.
We're burning that fucking gala to the ground.
I'm gonna become Marquis Valmont.
Yeah.
He's gonna be beating the shit out of him at some point, and he's like, "I know you hate me, but why? Oh, this is so much anger. Why? I feel like you're taking something out on me."
Thank you, everyone out there, for watching. We'll be back next week for our little mini 2-shot, and then I guess a week after that to continue the tale of Fred Jenny. More of my Casino Royale arc, but
This is that Witcher 3
it.
quest.
Yeah, we will see you in a week, and until next time, good game and good night, internet.
Par-delà le temps, la menace grandit. Si loin dans le silence, on entend ses cris. Par-delà les terres, son nom fait frémir. Préparez-vous, le néant gens ne se trompent point.